With the new tax regime set to take place, from January 1st, 2026, especially in Nigeria, this video is about is about letting you know how to file your taxes as a freelancer and remote worker in Nigeria. There are a lot of people who work in the gig economy, so they have accounts on Upwork, Fiverr, or they even get direct freelance gigs, or they work as VAs, virtual assistants, or social media managers and all that, and they receive income directly from abroad. They receive income in dollars from abroad and all that. So how are you going to go about this year's filing of your taxes? All right, so there are a few things to remember, a few things to know from the very start, so that you begin to prepare. Remember, Nigeria has gone into an agreement with many countries who will report how much they are paying Nigerians to their platforms. Even if they don't report or they don't have those arrangements because of maybe the app you use to receive your payment and all that, it eventually drops into your dollar account or your naira account as a certain kind of narration. So how do you manage yourself if you are a freelancer and remote worker, so that you don't get caught in the tax penalty plans and all that? All right, so let's quickly do a run through. So the first thing is, first of all, what will happen to your bank account if I don't file my taxes? That's if you don't file your taxes, what will happen to your bank account? All right, so the first thing is they'll freeze your account if you default. Remember, this is not happening in 2026. This will happen in 2027, after you're supposed to file for 2026. So the first thing to know that you're not filing for 2026 in 2026. You're filing for 2026 in 2027 before March 31st, all right, or by March 31st, all right. So nothing will happen to your account now. Is until then, if you default, that's when they could freeze your account. It means maybe they won't be able to, money can come in, money can go out, money can go out, or money won't be able to come in. All right. So the Nigerian Revenue Service has the power to do that in the new instruction, because remember, your account, your BVN is linked to your tax ID, and they can easily, use a trigger to do that. All right. And let's go further. Then secondly, if you delay in filing because you've not sorted this out, you'll be fined. Monthly penalty, the first one for delay is 100,000, then monthly 50,000 if you fail to file. Remember, again, this is happening next year, not 2026, but you have to prepare now. I'll also show you how to prepare. And then, of course, upon the penalty, you'll be paying 10% interest on the charges you're supposed to pay. So a lot of, policies coming in to collect this money from your hand if you default. All right. So let's go to another important one: your tax clearance. You will not have it, and sometimes you need these things sometimes in your job and all that, or you can get a better job or some work in bigger companies that will need your tax clearance to show that you're tax compliant in your country, and you need this to be able to keep receiving payment and all that for visas and all those stuff. These are requirements that are going to come in along the way, so you have to prepare for them. All right. Then of course, jail time, criminal persecution as punishment and all that, but I know you won't get there, but it's good you know. All right. Then now, there is no tax that is called a freelance tax. No. Anything you make from your freelance is treated as a self-employed professional or a business owner. You are a self-employed professional because you're the one that got your job, you're the one that runs your job, or a small business owner. So there's no special tax as a freelance tax. You are paying your taxes as a personal income tax as a self-employed person or a small business owner. So usually, like I said, the law kicks in this year. Like today's already second or third or whatever day you're watching this, all right. And the FRS, the name has been changed to NRS, Nigerian Revenue Service, all right. Now your NIN and your BVN are now linked, all right. There's a video I did that I'll do after now. There's a video that shows you how to quickly get your new tax ID so you can use that in your references, all right. So that's not for this video. It's another video. It's a simple video, all right. You can just check the videos I've done and you see how you can get your new tax ID in case you don't know. All right, just by putting your name you can retrieve it, and if you have any issues there, what to do about it, I did that in another video. All right, let's go on with this. All right, now let's do the calculation. What do you now pay? Now that you know this, how do you now pay? All right, so let's explain the tax bands first. Not everybody pays the same taxes. You pay taxes based on what you earn. Beyond even what you earn is based on what you make as profit. Because remember, you are paying for internet, you are paying for light, you are paying for subscription, all those stuff. Those are things you use to do your business, and they are under expenses. You don't get tax on expenses. You get tax on the profit you make after expenses. But remember, the expenses must be provable. All right, that's where your receipts are important. Whatever you pay for, keep the receipts. Whatever you buy, keep the receipts. Keep all that, because you won't be taxed on that. All right, so don't forget this. If they are printouts from your account statement, print them out and keep them separately. If they are physical receipts, scan them and keep them, because you will need them. All right. But let's go to the tax bands. How much are you going to pay for what you earn. So first of all, when your money is converted to naira, remember whatever dollar you are receiving, it will be converted to naira with the going rates. All right. So your first 800,000 is tax free. So your first 800,000 in profit, not as revenue, the whole money that came in. No, when you remove your expenses and all that, your first 800,000 naira is tax free. You don't pay. But now, anything from that 800,000 naira all the way to 3 million, you pay 15% on it, irrespective of the amount. Then if it goes beyond that, anything from that 3 million to 12 million, you pay 18%. And anything above 12 million all the way to 25, you pay 21%. What does it mean? I'll show you examples very soon on the different areas on how you calculate it. Let's even go there immediately. So for example, let's say I make $200 a month. So in a year is about $2,400. If I convert that to naira, I just use 1,004. So I'll get 3,840,000. So let's say this is the amount I make in 2026, and I'm about to file taxes in 2027. So let's say in 2026, I bought maybe data, my recording gears, my software, I subscribe for maybe Canva, CapCut, anything I do. Let's say all my expenses are 800,000. It could be more. I'm just using it as an example. So remember, these are expenses, and I have receipts to prove them, right? Then the next thing is, and one that a lot of people don't know is your rent. Because you do your business by yourself and you live by yourself, so where you do your business is like your rent. But now the rent, there's a small caveat there. Whatever you declare as a rent, which is provable, whether received from your landlord or your payment narration, anything that declares your rent, all right, the government gives you 20% of it for free. So, for example, if your rent was 600,000, 20% of 600,000 is 120. So that 120 will be taken out of your rent. So you are not taxed on that 120, but the rest you will be taxed on it. All right. So now this 120 is considered non-taxable money because the government gives you that. So the total deduction is that money you got from your rent, 20% discount, plus the 800,000 that you spent on your gears and your subscription and all that is now 920. So it means 920 won't be taxed. So subtract this 920 from 3,840 that you got at the beginning. That's what you totally got in the year. You have 2,920,000. Now, first 800,000 of this amount will not be charged. So what will be left is 2,120,000. So 2,120,000 falls into this tax band, falls into between 800 and 3 million, like in the previous page. So 15%. So let's go back. So 15% of 2,120,000 is 318,000. So this is the tax you will pay in 2027 when you are filing for earning this amount, 3,840,000 naira, or $2,400. This is what you'll be paying the government, 318,000. Remember, if your income is higher, if your expenses is higher, you will pay less. Provable. And this rent, minus even 20% they'll give you. If your rent, the highest you can get as rebate in your rent is 500,000. So let me say your rent is now maybe 5 million. 20% of 5 million is 1 million. So the government won't reduce 1 million for you. It can only stop at 500,000. All right. So it's 20% of what you are paying as your rent, or maximum 500,000, irrespective of how high it goes. So when you have that, you can subtract it and know what is to be taxed. The thing you have to know is not every income you have will be taxed. It is only income that is in profit that will be taxed, even as a freelancer or Upworker, Fiverr, or you just do gigs. Let's run another example. Let's say you're a bigger earner, you earn about $800 a month. We do the same conversions, about $9,600 for a year. That's 15.3 million. All right. So expenses, let's say 3 million your expenses, maybe your gears, your kit, your subscription, maybe you even hire somebody to join you, you outsource some things. Your expenses is 3 million, right? Now, maybe your rent, you pay 2 million. So 20% of your 2 million is 400K. So there's a 400,000. So now if you add this 400,000 plus your expenses is 3.4 million. If you subtract that from everything you earn in the year, 15.36 million, you have 11,960. All right. Remember, your first 800,000 is tax free. So if you remove 800,000 from this, what you have left is what you have left is 2.2. No, what you have left if you remove 800,000 from 11.960 is about 11.160. So that 11.160, they won't use the same tax on it. They will remove the 2.2 million, which is the next tax band. Let's go back to that. Remember, the next tax band after the 800 is from 800 to 3 million. So to 3 million. So what they will do is they will remove that. Yeah, they'll remove, because what's left in your sorry, I made a mistake here. Okay, yeah. So what's left is that. So they remove it, and then oh, there's a huge mistake here. Okay, whatever. There's a huge mistake. 11.6. There's a huge mistake here. Alright, but don't worry. This is live recording, so just get it. This is what is supposed to be left for you. 8.96 million. Yeah, if you remove 2.2 million. Remember, this is making it 3 million. 330,000 is off. So what you are left to pay for now is 8.96 million, and 18% of this is 1,612,800. So that's what you'll be paid. All right. So if you the tax of this 330 plus 1,600,000, if you add that, so your taxes for earning $800 a month or 15,360,000 naira a year is 1,942,800. This is what you're doing. All right. I think there's no mistake if you follow the calculation from what we did here and here. There is no mistake. All right. So I think I've seen it again. All right. Let's do one more to make it really easier. Okay. Let's say you're earning $2,500 a month. You're a big freelancer, or maybe even more than that. 5 million, whatever you're doing. So your annual revenue is $30,000. So you're earning about 48 million naira a year. So your expenses, let me show you your expenses. We put at 8 million. Your rent is maybe 4 million, but the best you can get, remember I said it before, is 500,000. All right. So even though 20% of 4 million is 800k, they won't give you 800k. The highest you can get is 500k. All right. So if you remove the deduction, your expenses plus your rent is now 8.5 million off. If you remove that from 48 million, you have this. So it's 39,500,000 that will be taxed. But now they're not using one rate to tax this. The first 800 is free, then the next 2.2 is 15%, then the next 9, in the different tax band. Remember our tax band. Yeah, you're seeing them 3 million to 12 million, 12 million to 25 million, 21%, 25 million to 50 million, 23%. So let's go back to this. So that's what's going on here. The next 9 million is 18,000, 18% this, and the next 30 million is 21%. So it didn't get to 25%, 50 million band. So the remaining one is 14.5 million, that'll be 23%. So when you add these are different charges. If you put all of them together, your total tax will be 8,015,000 naira. So that's what you'll be paying as your tax if your income was about 48 million a year. That is what you'll be paying as your tax. So as you look at it, you see that, wow, if you don't have to calculate this, you could make mistakes and go and pay more than what you're supposed to pay. Remember, a lot lies in your business expenses. So you have to make sure that you capture your expenses. Sometimes, some people spend more than this. It could cost you maybe 20 million to make this money. Make sure you capture it so that it is calculated properly. Even though many times for services, the government may say they don't expect you to spend more than 20%. To earn that kind of money because it's services and all that, but do your best to record all that and show it. If it's provable, though, let it be. All right. So it's good you know it as a freelancer. All right. And the next question will now be how and when to file. Of course, register first. If you don't have it in, just quickly get it, retrieve it. All right. Then self-assessment as a YouTuber or freelancer and all that. You have to do first assessment in the website. All right. The website, the link will be added to this, or definitely it's popular. It's already everywhere. So self-assessment, you are the one that reports what you earn and all your calculation. You do it. The system will help you calculate the taxes once you are putting it. All right. And the deadline is usually 31st March of the next year. That's of 2027. If you are 2026. If you are filing for 2026, 2027. If you're filing for 2027, 2028. All right. So have that. Then keep all your payments. Evidence, your USD, your pounds, your withdraw. So if you withdraw even in dollars, keep the evidence. If you withdraw in dollars and you want to change, you brew the change and they change it back to naira for you, keep the evidence so that you don't get double taxed. Because it's good to know, because many times you know that these dollars, you may change it in the bank and we're going to change it, brew the change. Have it so that they don't tax it and see it as an income again. Know that it's that same income that you got in dollars that you went to change. All right. So keep that record and be able to prove it when you're filing. All right. Keep all evidence of what you buy, what you rent, and all that. Even your transportation, sometimes you can get something. Keep it. If you have to travel to get some jobs done, keep it. Keep the receipt so that it will account to your expenses. All right. So where do you pay? As a freelancer and all that, you're not paying to the federal government. You are paying as a personal tax. So very likely it's to your state government. So if you're in Lagos, it's Lagos state tax body. Abuja is FCT tax body. Port Harcourt, depending on state you are, so it's your state. Some of them have online portals. If they don't have, go to the tax office there and they'll show you how to go about it and file it in your state. All right, in your state. All right. At this level, you're not filing at the federal level. You're filing in your state. It's businesses that are corporate